I look at that person, I'm not even going to be able to remember the boy who broke up with me over the phone in 25 seconds when I was 18.
Yes, and that's over.
What do you care? You go through men faster than Taylor Swift.
Unpredictable and cussed, like women.
Do you think that Kanye West, do you think he has
Hey, guys, we've got to move on past that question. I'm sorry.
You're going to walk home with more than maybe just a trophy tonight. I think lots of men.
Men get me in trouble. I don't...
Taylor, don't tell me this is your last album.
What? It's a shockingly offensive thing to say.
All right. This makes me feel so bad about myself.
Taylor Swift has spent 2 decades being underestimated by interviewers, comedians, and entire television networks. And one by one, she has made every single one of them regret it. Not with shouting, not with tears. With quiet, devastating precision, delivered so calmly that half the room did not realize they had just been taken apart until the clip started circulating online. These are 11 of her sharpest comebacks, and somewhere in Kansas City, Travis Kelce is taking careful, meticulous notes, because if there is one man on earth who has learned never to underestimate Taylor Swift, it is her own husband. Starting at number 11, a Vogue interview from 2016, during the era when the entire media seemed obsessed with cataloging every man she had ever been photographed near. When the interviewer pushed her on the years of coverage about her dating life, Taylor did not get defensive. She simply laid out the double standard in plain terms, explaining that she had gone out on a completely normal number of dates in her early 20s and been publicly torn apart for it, adding that she had almost been conditioned to believe it was somehow her own fault for writing songs about her own life. It was not a viral soundbite. It did not need to be. It was a calm, complete reframing of 5 years of tabloid mockery into exactly what it always was. Number 10 rewinds to 2008, to a couch on the Ellen DeGeneres Show, where a barely legal Taylor volunteered information nobody had even asked for. She revealed that Joe Jonas had ended their relationship in a phone call lasting less than half a minute, and then delivered the detail that made the whole thing unforgettable, noting that she had actually gone back and checked the call log, and that the breakup call had clocked in at 27 seconds, which she suggested had to be some kind of record.
And when I look at that person, I'm not even going to be able to remember the boy who broke up with me over the phone in 25 seconds when I was 18. It was like a record, I think, for how quick. It was like I looked at the call log, it was like 27 seconds.
Oh, no.
That's got to be a record.
She did not wait for a rude question. She brought her own receipts to a first date with the entire viewing public and calmly humiliated the man on the other end of that phone call without raising her voice once, turning what could have been a painful memory into one of the funniest lines of her early career. Number 9 happened on German radio in 2019. During a routine promotional interview with RTL, when the host asked whether turning 30 felt like a turning point and whether she was ready to settle down and start a family with her then partner. Taylor did not dodge. She stated plainly that she did not believe men were ever asked that same question the moment they turned 30, and that she simply was not going to answer it. Then she pivoted the conversation entirely, redirecting toward what her 30s actually meant to her artistically. No anger. No explanation demanded of her. Just a flat refusal to accept the premise of the question in the first place. Number 8 is the one where she went after an actual streaming giant by name. In 2021, the Netflix show Ginny and Georgia included a joke comparing a character's dating habits to Taylor's, despite the fact that she had been in the same relationship for more than 4 years at that point.
Yes, and that's over.
What do you care? You go through men faster than Taylor Swift.
Taylor watched the episode, and Taylor responded, pointing out that the joke belonged in 2010 rather than the present day, and that it was tired to keep dressing up the degradation of hardworking women as comedy. She then added one final line aimed squarely at the show itself, referencing its own recent output in a way that made clear exactly how unimpressed she was.
You never know what it's going to be.
The phrase "respect Taylor Swift" trended worldwide within hours. Number 7 brings in an actual comedy legend. On The Graham Norton Show in 2014, seated beside John Cleese of Monty Python fame, Taylor listened as Cleese made an offhand remark comparing the unpredictability of cats to women. Without missing a beat, without raising her voice, without turning it into a scene, she turned to him and delivered a 5-word response so calmly measured, that the studio audience barely registered what had just happened.
Unpredictable and cussed, like women. You know?
Oh, we don't want to do that.
It remains one of her quietest comebacks and, because of that quietness, one of her most devastating. Number 6 rewinds all the way to 2009, just days after the infamous incident where Kanye West interrupted her on stage.
I'm really happy for you. I'm gonna let you finish. But Beyonce had one of the best videos of all time.
A radio host on the MJ Morning Show kept circling back to the topic, despite Taylor politely redirecting the conversation multiple times. She warned him. She redirected again. And when he pushed a third time, 19-year-old Taylor simply stated that she was done discussing it, handed the phone over to her publicist, and left the host talking into dead air.
You've got about 10 or 12 radio stations lined up after me, and they're all going to want to talk about this, Taylor.
Absolutely, but I think that if I asked them 3 times, and I've already talked about this in interviews, you know, like I went on The View and just kind of went through a brief overview of what went down and everything.
And I'll tell you what, last question, then we move on, okay? One more, and then I promise I'll move on, all right? Do you think, and I think it's a legitimate question, do you think that Kanye West, do you think he has
Hey, guys, we've got to move on past that question. I'm sorry.
No tantrum. No follow-up needed. Just a clean, complete exit. Number 5 is pure red carpet efficiency. At the 2015 Grammys, an Entertainment Tonight correspondent asked a camera operator to pan down toward her legs, then suggested on air that she would likely be going home with more than just a trophy that night, implying she would be leaving with a man.
I just wanted to show the legs because, as I was telling you ahead of time, you're going to walk home with more than maybe just a trophy tonight. I think lots of men.
Taylor answered instantly, without a flicker of hesitation, stating that she would not be going home with any men that night, that she planned to spend the evening with her friends before heading home to her cats, before adding, almost as a punchline, that men tend to get her into trouble. 10 seconds, maybe less, and the entire premise of the question evaporated.
I'm not going to walk home with any men tonight. I'm gonna go hang out with my friends, and then I go home to the cats.
No men allowed.
Men get me in trouble. I don't.
Number 4 moves into the music world itself. In 2022, Blur and Gorillaz frontman Damon Albarn told a major publication that Taylor did not actually write her own songs, dismissing her co-writing credits as not counting. Taylor responded publicly and immediately, stating she had been a big fan of his until reading that comment, and firmly correcting the record that she writes every single one of her own songs, calling his claim false and genuinely damaging to her reputation as a songwriter. Then came the line that turned the whole exchange into a legend of its own, a simple postscript clarifying that she had in fact written that very tweet entirely by herself. Albarn issued a public apology within hours. Number 3 is arguably the coldest 5 words in modern celebrity history. During her interview as Times Person of the Year in 2023, her first major sit-down in 4 years, Taylor was finally asked directly about the manipulated phone call recording that had haunted her for the better part of a decade, the one that painted her as dishonest and triggered a period of public exile so intense she described it as feeling like losing everything all at once. Rather than relitigating the entire saga, she closed the subject with a single, quiet observation, noting simply that trash tends to take itself out eventually, and that she did not need to do anything about it herself. That phrase alone has outlived nearly every other quote on this list. Number 2 moves into more recent territory, a BBC Radio 2 interview in 2025, promoting her album, The Life of a Showgirl. Host Scott Mills mentioned a theory floating among fans that this might be her final album now that she was engaged. The assumption being that marriage and children would naturally mean the end of her music career. Taylor let out a small laugh before responding, calling the assumption shockingly offensive, then explaining plainly that people do not get married in order to quit their jobs, and that she loves the man she is with specifically because he supports and celebrates the art she makes rather than expecting her to abandon it.
Taylor, don't tell me this is your last album.
What? No.
I just saw some fans going, well, she's going to get married and then she's going to have children and then it's going to be the last album.
A shockingly offensive thing to say.
Absolutely. It is not the last album.
It's not why people get married.
No, exactly.
So that they can quit their job.
The chuckle before the correction did most of the work. It was amused, unbothered, and completely dismissive all at once. And now, the moment that refuses to die no matter how many years pass. Number 1 rewinds to 2013, to another appearance on the Ellen DeGeneres Show. This time built around a game where Ellen displayed a slideshow of practically every man Taylor had ever been photographed standing near, ringing a bell after each photo and pressuring her to confirm or deny a relationship, whether or not one had ever existed. The studio audience laughed along. Taylor, visibly uncomfortable, asked her to stop, repeating herself, explaining that the segment made her feel deeply bad about herself and made her question what she even stood for as a person every time she was invited back onto that stage.
Oh, you didn't date him.
We didn't
No,
date.
he's getting married. Okay.
We didn't date. What are you doing to me? This is me.
Okay, all right.
This makes me feel so bad about myself. Every time I come up here, you put like a different dude up there on the screen.
The moment quietly aged for nearly a decade until it resurfaced online in 2022, and the internet reacted with real fury, with widespread condemnation branding the segment as bullying dressed up as comedy. Model Emily Ratajkowski's reaction to the resurfaced clip alone reached millions of viewers, calling out exactly how uncomfortable and inappropriate the whole exchange had been. Taylor herself later revealed the quiet, brilliant final twist to the story, noting that so many of her songs, including one of her biggest hits, would never have existed if people had not kept putting slideshows of her exes in front of her and demanding she perform her own humiliation for entertainment. She did not just survive the moment, she turned it into royalties. So there is the full countdown, 11 moments spanning 16 years, from a 19-year-old hanging up a phone on a radio host to a global superstar calmly correcting a rock legend in a single tweet. What ties every single one of them together is the complete absence of chaos. She rarely raises her voice. She rarely repeats herself more than once or twice before simply ending the conversation on her own terms. And time and again, the people who underestimated her, whether it was a talk show host, a music journalist, or a trillion-dollar streaming company, ended up the ones apologizing, deleting posts, or quietly disappearing from the conversation altogether. Being underestimated, it turns out, might be the single most useful skill Taylor Swift has ever had, because every time someone tries it, she simply waits for her turn to speak, delivers one clean, unhurried sentence, and lets everyone else scramble to catch up. That's all for this video, folks. See you next time.